You are watching the Learn, Grow, Repeat with J. Marie and Laditeesh podcast channel. We hope that you are inspired, encouraged, and even entertained. Be sure to hit the like button, leave us a comment, and join our online tribe by hitting subscribe. Let's get into it.
Let's just jump right into it because I feel like this one gonna be a long one, y'all. It's gonna be a long one because there's just so much to unpack as it relates to being single and whole, love and marriage. So we're gonna do our best to break it down a little bit today.
Yeah, I hope to learn some things too.
Listen,
Trying to learn and grow
we
and not repeat some things.
we all learning and growing. And all you have truly is your story, your testimony, you know what I mean? And I think that these conversations are important for us to talk about because it definitely gives not only insight, but encouragement to continue on your journey. You know what I mean? A lot of times we keep things private, thinking that, we go through things alone. And you never really know what somebody might be going through and what you have in common, so these type of topics, being transparent and open with it, resonates with people, and I'm hoping that it speaks to somebody today. So
let's get into it.
Let's get into it. You want to go first, or you want me to ask you a question?
You can, ask me a question. Let's break the ice. Let's get into this.
So let's talk about like stigmas, like surrounding singleness and loneliness. Like a lot of times you hear, oh, I'm single and lonely. You hear the two words together. So what I wanted to know from you is, do those two words mean the same thing to you? The singleness equate to loneliness?
No. Mm-hmm. I think singleness equates to being alone, but I don't think it equates to being loneliness. Mm-hmm. And not to get all deep, but I feel personally, and this is something I've learned in the past few years, is that you can be single and still be whole and still be happy. But I feel like the disconnect is if you don't have a true relationship with not only yourself, but with God. So that's where the loneliness comes in, because once you're whole in God, you're whole within yourself and know you for who you are, that single life, you're not going to be lonely. Mm-hmm. You're going to be alone. Mm-hmm. And understand that it's okay to be alone, and being alone may not be forever. And that's a place I had to get to. And it took time because I did correlate singleness with being lonely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I had to take time to get to know Jocelyn and get to know God.
Right. And, I'm not single, and I haven't been single for a very long time as it relates to a relational, status. But to me, like when I hear the word single, I don't equate it to something relational. Even though I'm married, I am still a single, meaning I am one, right? I am a whole individual. I have, traits that are unique to me. You know what I mean? So I know we're talking relational wise, but first and foremost, let's look at the word single and realize that when someone is single, we're all single. We're all single and whole individuals. We're unique. And I think that when you look at it that way, you can then start to become, more self-aware, and not equate that term with something, something that you have to like survive. Like, oh, I'm surviving singleness. No, you are single. I am single. My marital status does not strip me of my singleness, my wholeness. So to me, it's all about perspective. It's all about your perspective. And so even though I'm not single as far as my relationship, when I hear those two things together, like it upsets me that, there's this stigma that, because somebody is single, oh, they're lonely. Like, excuse me, let's not do that. Like, let's not do that.
But where does that come from?
You know what? I think a lot of it, I'm not going to say like all of it, but I think a lot of it stems from entertainment, like the things that we watch and the things that we listen to. I think a lot of that plays a part in it as well. because it's portrayed a lot in movies and in TV, you know, it's for the drama of it or the comical, you know, part of it, you know, it's kind of portrayed, oh, single, desperate, lonely, can't get a man or hard to deal with, or, you know, just different things like that. And I think because we see it portrayed in media, we kind of like can't separate the two. I don't know. What do you think?
Honestly, I do not know. I think it's truly a misconception of what singleness is, you know. So I never looked at it from your perspective as saying, you know, I'm an individual, so I'm single. I always looked at it from a relational purpose, like, you know, I'm single, meaning it's only me. I'm not in a relationship with anyone. So that means, you know, you could date and things like that. But because I'm not in an official relationship or even an official marriage, then I'm single. So I never looked at it from that perspective.
And I think that was before I got married. You know, we didn't do marriage counseling, but we did, you know, read a lot of faith-based books. And I remember like that concept being, you know, being taught to me. And it was something that was so profound that I never forgot it. And, you know, a lot of times in a marriage, some people, you know, lose their way. They lose their individuality because they feel like they have to now, you know, submit, or, you know, they're tending after the family, or now, you know, serving this, you know, their husband, or whatever the case may be. But I think even in a successful marriage, like, it is important that each individual maintain their individuality. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am me for a reason. You chose me for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that doesn't go out the window simply because my marital status changed, you know, my relational status changed to, you know, to married. So I think that if we begin to look at it that way and realize that it doesn't really boil down to relational, it is who I am. And it doesn't change whether I'm in a relationship or not. I am still a single, one whole individual that simply joins or partners with another single, one whole individual.
That's a great perspective. Again, you just schooled me just now, Laditeesh. You just schooled me. Where my pen at? Let me write this down. You know what? I'll listen back.
I mean, for real though, and think about it. And I'm probably going all off, you know, all over the place, but I'm passionate about this because it's also, whenever I hear the phrase, oh, he completes me, like, even that too gets underneath my skin, because I'm like, no, I am complete. Like, I am a complete individual. My husband compliments me. I compliment him. You know what I mean? But I am complete. You know what I mean? So
yes.
So that's another one that I'm just like, oh, come on, y'all. Like, come on. And like, I get it. I get the gesture. I get it. But if we take that literal, think about what you're saying. You know what I mean?
You're saying basically that you're not whole unless you have this other person to fill into it. That's why I said with loneliness, it's like, you're lonely. I feel like if you don't know yourself and you're not whole within yourself, and you're not whole with God, because once you're whole with God, you already filled to capacity at this point. Now, anything additional, I feel like it's bonus. It's bonus. It's
you better preach.
So, and again, listen, God is not through with me yet, but this is where I have come to now at 34.75 years old.
You itching real closer and closer to that 30. Good. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm understanding, and I think that's why I've been the one who's always been in relationships, like always. And this is the longest I have been single since I could ever date, since high school. And honestly, this is the most comfortable I've been single. And I thank God for that, because it took me really being intentional with my self-care, intentional with, you know, I've been in church my whole life, but it's one thing to be in church and walk the walk and talk the talk. But to really have a relationship with God, to know that he loves me for who I am. So I don't have to compromise how I am, what I desire, what I require, what I expect. So
Yes.
now I'm at peace.
Yes.
And because now I'm at peace with it, listen, I will date a guy. And if he's not where I need him to be, I will let him go. You know, and I never was that one. I will hold on. Lord Jesus, no, I will hold on too long past expiration because I was, just trying to hold on to something to fill that void that only God could fill for me. So yeah, singleness.
Man, you are, girl, you talking right. Like you talking right. And it's just, think about how different, like, the world would be if we really took that concept and walked it out. Because I feel like people think that singleness is like just a holding pattern or a holding place until they get into their next relationship. But no, like that period of being single as it relates to not being in a relationship with someone, you're still in a relationship with God, as you mentioned, and with yourself. You know what I mean? So that period of you not being in a romantic relationship with someone else, it doesn't mean, you stop growing, you stop learning yourself. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you don't spend time getting to know who you are, and we know we get our identity from Christ, right? You don't become self-aware, so then you're more willing to accept anything that comes your way.
That is so true. When I say that is so true, that is so true. And then you see yourself settling and all those type of things and really not genuinely and authentically being happy. Because you just want to say that, you know what, I'm with somebody. It's a lot of people I know that's like that. They are with people knowing they really shouldn't be with them. And honestly, I was that person too at one point in my life where I was with people I knew I had no business being with them, but I didn't want to be single. I didn't want to be the single friend. I wanted to be the friend that had a man and was in a relationship and took cute pictures and skipped in the wind. But in the reality, because I wasn't whole within myself, how can I take on somebody else and what they got going on in their family and their kids and all of that if I can't even handle my load?
I read this quote and it's by Wiz Khalifa, and I thought that it was so profound, so I wrote it down. And what it said was, being single doesn't necessarily mean that you're available. Sometimes you have to put a sign that says "Do not disturb" on your heart. And it just made me think about people who, you'll see on social media, they'll say, "Oh, I'm working on me." And some people bark at that or like, dust it off. But I'm just like, that's a true statement, and it's a deep statement. And I think it's important, not only important, but it's big of them. You know what I mean? It's them being self-aware and understanding that, no, I'm working on me. You know what I mean? It's responsible of that individual, and that they're not viewing this period of relational singleness as something that they should dread, but they're looking at it as a period of time that, no, I'm gonna work on the relationship that ain't going nowhere as long as I live. You know what I mean? And that's the one within me. And that's important. That's so important.
It is.
It's so important. So yeah, man, like I don't know. I just hate seeing those two words together in the same phrase, like single and lonely. And I'm just like, that's like the wrong perspective. And I'm not saying it doesn't get lonely sometimes.
I was going to say that because it does. It does. I mean, especially in the colder months, cuddle season.
Like you see the post, like we starting to see the post surface. Couple season, get you one. Like we starting to see that.
It's getting cold, and then we got COVID going on, and you're not trying to be dating a bunch of people and all that other stuff. So, you know, you would like to have that one person and that you can hang out with, Netflix and chill, but a really Netflix and chill, not Netflix and chill, but, you know, and hang out with and connect with and talk to and all of those things. I mean, and that's natural. We're human. We're human and we were not created to be alone. We were not. But in the event you are alone at a certain point in your life, it's okay. Like, it is okay.
It truly is. It truly is. Because again, that relationship doesn't define you, nor does it strip you of your wholeness and your individuality. That doesn't go anywhere. I don't care if you've been married 20 years. You should not lose that. You should never lose that. Never lose that. So speaking of like social media and posts and different things like that, let's talk about like technology and the role it's played in the, you know, dating game of, you know, current day. Do you think that social media has made dating easier?
No.
Or has it made or has, let me finish asking the question.
No.
Or has it made things more complicated?
It's made it convenient, but complicated. I wouldn't say easier.
But I'm writing that down because that convenient is dangerous too.
It is. It's convenient. So, you know, you have social media, you have online dating, you have these different, you know, avenues that you can access from your phone, from your computer to make dating quote unquote easier. The challenge is it's not necessarily easier because it's hard, because now you're going through, you're swiping through a whole bunch of people that you don't know, that you just see, and you don't know if it's really them. That's the catfish part.
Oh, girl, child. Oh my God.
You ain't missing nothing out here.
Girl,
I'm missing nothing out here.
When I watch some of those episodes of Catfish, I just be like, you got to be kidding me, sis.
Yes. And then you also have, you know, so you're swiping and you don't know who you're really talking to and things like that. But it's convenient because you can like X them out. So compared to meeting someone, say you meet someone at your local Wawa, and you know, you're like, oh, okay, he cute, she cute, let's exchange numbers, and y'all start talking. Now he got your number. You know what I mean? Like, I think about all that stuff. He got your number. Now you don't like him, you don't want to talk to him no more. And now he blowing your phone up. Now you gotta block him and all of that. But when you're on social media and things like that, you can avoid all of that without sharing your personal, you know, information. You can communicate with someone without, you know, sharing your personal information, such as your phone number and, you know, things like that. You can have a fake name on social media. You can have, you know, all these different protective things because you don't know who you are accessing. So that's what makes it more convenient and complicated at the same time.
Join the conversation by emailing your questions to learngrow.repeat@gmail.com. Be a part of our online tribe by following the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at Learn.Grow.Repeat. Now let's get into the episode.
It can seem frustrating. It can seem overwhelming going through the whole process of dating. It's like I'm fresh in the game right now, and it's a little draining. And I think it's because I'm a relationship girl. So when I like someone, I just want to be with that one person. And so now I'm learning to date. But yeah, social media made it convenient yet complicated. That's what I would say.
And see, I thought that, you know, one way that technology or social media would make dating a little bit easier is that a lot of people post a lot of things online. Now, granted, you don't know if all of it is true, but I feel like people, for the most part, post their lives on, you know, social media. So it kind of gives you insight. And I mean, you can scroll back years, you know what I mean, and see what that person was like in 2018, you know what I mean, and who you dealing with today. So you can kind of do some like investigative work and learn more about a person from jump. You know what I mean?
I understand that. And being a private investigator part-time,
because we know how to investigate.
being a private investigator part-time, I would have to say it depends on the type of individual you're dealing with, because again, there's men, there are men out there who keep their family private, keep their children private, keep what they got going on private. So
they
you
probably
can
got more than one page, child. Lord.
Oh, yep, that too. Oh yeah, the duplicate pages. You got that going on. Then you also
or one facade on Facebook and another person, same person but a different facade on Instagram, Snapchat. Yep. Lord mercy.
Please, I know married men with one page and another page for showing that he's single, and the other page with the kids and all of that on it. I done seen it all. Okay, I've seen it all. So you really can't go based off of that. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to look at the comments. Listen, I ain't crazy now, but I'm going to tell you how this go. You got to look at the comments. You see what female says what with the hard eyes. Then you got to click on her profile. Then once you click on her profile and then you see him on her pictures, boom, there you got the connection.
No, yeah, this is complicated and draining.
It's complicated, draining. God. It's a whole nother job. It's a whole nother headache. It's a whole nother, I really don't.
But you know what? You said convenient. And when you said that, this thought came to mind and why it will also, for me, I think, be complicated, because when things are convenient, we don't tend to value them or weigh them heavily. You know what I mean? Like we don't regard them in the same way, because it's easy access is convenient. And I feel like without that, you know, we're dealing with people in the tech realm. And so we neglect that face-to-face. And then when you finally, you know, connect with that person, you kind of feel like you already know them because you've been, you know, following them on social media. But yet that real human connection, to me, it's compromised because we don't spend that face-to-face human connection time together, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like
it does. It's a disconnect. But again, it's also based on how do you utilize social media for dating. So like, for instance, I've online dated, and one of the things that I do with online dating is it's levels. It's levels. We start on the dating site. We'll talk there. If I become interested with you, then we upgrade to maybe potentially Instagram. And then we'll go from Instagram to exchanging phone numbers.
Okay.
Then we go from exchanging phone numbers to video chat. So mind you, now we on level 5. We ain't even meet in person yet, but I need to make sure I'm talking to who I'm talking to.
Right.
I'm crazy. Right. I'm switch up. And then after that, once I'm comfortable with you through the video chat, then we can link up face to face. And that's just levels that I personally do. And that's just to ensure I know who I'm dealing with up front. But I love the fact that I can control that, because at the end of the day, I can block, delete, remove, and don't ever have to see this person a day again in my life.
Okay, so there's levels to this thing. You educated me. I didn't know. I mean,
everyone doesn't do it this way. I know women who meet guys and meet them right away, and they start dating them, and now they either together or whatever. I don't go that quickly, and that's because I just need to make sure I know who I'm seeing. Like, I need to be safe, because you hear all these horror stories and things like that. I need to be safe. I need to be comfortable with meeting someone in person, because again, you don't know. Anybody can paint any picture of them online.
Child, yes. That is so interesting. But I mean, I've met a few people who have had successful online dating experiences to the point where they actually married the individual and are happily married. So it definitely works. Like you said, I think you have to, we talk about boundaries, this is the third week in a row, boundaries has come up, you know what I mean? But it's important, especially in a realm of, technology and social media and dating on that platform, the different, like the red tape and the just the different things that can occur on that platform. But the possibility of finding true love and relationships that work online is a thing. Like, people actually do that.
And there are a lot of people who who I know personally who have had success with it as well. And I may have not necessarily had success as far as relationship wise through online dating and dating through social media, but I have gained friendships that I have friends with to this day. I mean, going back to Black Planet, remember Black Planet?
I do.
Black Planet days that are now like really good friends of mine that I've been friends with. We're talking about 15, 20 years. So although it didn't become romantic, it did become a genuine friendship that I still have to this day. So I mean, that's why I'm not completely against online dating, because I've made relationships with people that may have not necessarily been romantic, or if they were romantic, it just didn't go as far as we thought it would go. But it didn't end off on a bad note.
Right.
So it's
And
possible.
I think that one of the advantages too, and again, this is just me outside looking in. One of the advantages is because you mentioned, you know, meeting somebody at your local Wawa. Well, especially now too, where, you know, this global pandemic, people ain't getting out, you know, a lot. So I think that with the power of the internet, you know what I mean, you can meet people like globally, you know, people who you probably would never have, you know, met on the street, you know what I mean, at a job or, you know, on a bus stop, whatever. With social media, with the internet, you now have the ability to find a soulmate, but he very well may be in the UK or, you know, or something like that. So those possibilities I think are like amazing that, you
That
know, you
it's
can
cool.
possibly, you
Yeah,
know,
it's cool. And it also can cause frustration because of the distance if that was to typically happen. Um, you know, depending what your life entails, you know. So
right. But for some it may, I mean,
for some it may be, you know, they may be with it. I know people who've had long distance relationships that started online and eventually they wind up moving together and things like that. You see that all the time, even on television and things like that. So it's definitely possible, you know. So again, I'm not against it at all. It's very convenient and complicated.
so at the end of the day, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
I just think dating is a blessing and a curse at the same
There's pros and
time.
cons. There's pros and cons to it all.
Yeah.
And really to each their own, you know, to each their own. But that's with anything, you know what I mean? Whether it's technology or, you know, or not. Like there was, you know, pros and cons to, you know, dating the old fashioned way, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but that social media world, man, it can get wild. It can get wild. It can get wild, especially with people like not revealing their true identities and different things like that. Like that's
Which I think is so corny. That is so corny.
like that's just beyond me.
If somebody is listening right now that does that, you're corny for that. I'm sorry. I'm going to be the one to say it. You're corny. First of all, we grown. Okay? Be comfortable with who you are and how you look, and that's it. Someone is someone for everybody. I truly believe that, you know, and just be confident in yourself. Like people steal pictures and everything. Like, why? I would never understand that.
But it's like the strength and the power and the energy that it takes to create this whole story. Like you better write a book or something, make some money. You know what I mean? Put that. I don't want to call it talent, but put that to work for you. You know what I mean? Write you a book or something and sell the story rather than mess up somebody's life. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so let's talk about the weight, right?
Oh,
how
gosh.
important is, and you can speak personally or just, you know, what you feel like is going on today. Like how important is sexual purity while dating?
Rare. Sexual purity is very rare.
But is it important, do you think?
I don't think it has the importance that it should have. Because it's extremely rare. So it's rare. So if you do meet, I've met people who are still waiting to do, and I don't understand that. I mean, listen, I'm gonna keep it all the way
It's
real.
no, you know what? It's no joking matter.
It's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
a serious matter, and we gotta grow up sometimes, Tish. We really do, because we really shouldn't laugh just now. But
Right. I'm like, what I do? First of all, I'm silly. That's let that be known. But it is a serious matter.
It is important, especially, it's what the Bible teaches us, and like I said, God is not through with me yet. So, I mean, I just think that it's about this whole this perception of the test drive. Like, I'm not going to buy the car if I don't know how it runs. I don't know how it drives. I don't know how them gears shift. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how them wipers go. You got to test drive that, because if I'm going to sign up for this for life, I need to know what I'm working with. And honestly, I can understand that. However, because I go through this a lot in dating, this is a conversation that comes up a lot, because I am unmarried, never been married. I have 2 children out of wedlock. So yes, I am not a spring chicken. I am not wearing white. I have done it quite a few times, and I enjoy it. But I think because where I am now in my life, I am putting out there that in order for me to be in a full-blown I want to be in a full-blown committed relationship before I give it up again. And it's just more so to make sure that the understanding is there that this is not just, you can't just ride this ride, because you're going to have fun, but you can't ride this ride for free. And I'm not going to get anywhere, because I've done that for so long. It's like, And
I think that is the perspective we need to have versus the one, oh, I need to test drive it. No, I am a luxury, full size, vehicle with value. I'm not going to let just anybody test drive it. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the perspective, because I've heard that before. And again, I didn't wait either. You know what I mean? I didn't wait. It was important to me, but I think when you are dating and you are with someone who you love and see yourself with, you compromise, or you put yourself in situations that we're saying no, or it becomes difficult, and there's passion there, there's feelings there, there's love there, and I didn't wait. But I guess what I had the tendency of thinking that I was so strong-willed that, oh, I can go this far and stop. And that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? It wasn't the case. But because it was important to me, I had to bring it up, you know what I mean? And let my boyfriend, now husband, know that, hey, I know we've done this. And we've done it for a while, but my convictions won't allow me to continue like this. And I need for us to stop. You know what I mean? I need to stop. Wow. And to me, that was hard, because we've been doing it.
Yeah.
So, he could have been like, girl, bye. Like, we've been doing it. So what's the difference now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think what it was for me, realizing that he was then willing to walk in this purity journey with me, prior to us getting engaged, prior to us, actually walking down the aisle, he agreed to walk this purity walk with me. And I think it was at that moment that I knew that, okay, this is the one for me. Like, because he didn't pressure me. He didn't say I was whack. Like, he was like, all right. And we walked it out together. And that's not to say that we didn't fall short after we made the decision, but because it was, something that because it was something that meant a lot to both of us, I think just the act of trying to walk this out was important. So I think that when we have stories like that, it's important to share, because you said it's rare, but then you also said people who are doing it, and I'm the same way. Like, I know people who have waited, and because we don't openly share things like this, we think it's rare because of what we see.
Yeah.
But representation matters. We say it when it comes to professions, we say it when it comes to movies and children's books and all different things like that. But it matters in situations like this as well. If more people share their weight journey, you know what I mean? If more people share the fact that, I didn't wait, but now I am, that journey, I think we would see more of it. I think people would feel comfortable in their decision-making process as it relates to purity before marriage.
But I think it's also where your mind is truly at, because again, this is something completely new to me. I've been sexually active for half my life now, and I love sex. Like, I love it. But I don't want to give everyone access to that. Like, I can't wait to get my husband, because my husband gonna get the business. You hear me? The business. You hear me? But I also feel like, that test drive thing, I can understand some part of it, because I've had more than one sexual partner. There's such differences in men, and I'm not just talking about the physical aspects of it. It's just the whole process of having sex. So I can appreciate, like I know what I want. Like, I know what's whack in my eyes, because I've had that experience. And I feel like if I didn't have those experiences, I could marry a man and it'd be whack. It'd be whack.